We're Val and Manny of Plant-Based Passport.
Join us as we cook, bake, and eat our way around the world, plant-based style.
Hello, and today we are making focaccia. Focaccia is an Italian flatbread flavored with olive oil. And this is just an oil-free disclaimer for all you oil-free people out there. This recipe uses an obscene amount of olive oil, so if that bothers you, turn back now. Focaccia bread is known for its cute little dimples, the purpose of which is to prevent air bubbles from forming when the focaccia is baked. But today we are going to be decorating our focaccia with herbs and vegetables.
So focaccia dates back to the 8th century BC when the Etruscans settled in Italy. There was also evidence of a widespread industry of focaccia and pizza making in Pompeii when the volcano erupted in 79 AD.
So for today's ingredients, we're going to need the following: 2 1/4 teaspoons of dry active yeast, 6 to 8 tablespoons of olive oil, 1/4 cup semolina flour, 3/4 teaspoons of salt, 1 cup of water, 2 1/2 cups of bread flour, plus an additional 1/4 cup for kneading, vegetables and herbs for decorating, and again, this is optional. We're using oregano, rosemary, onions, olives, bell peppers, and tomatoes.
So first you're going to dump your water into a bowl. You want it to be lukewarm, somewhere around 105 degrees. Then you want to add your yeast. And then you're going to mix your yeast with your water and let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes to make sure that the yeast is awake and active. Then you're going to add some olive oil and some salt and your semolina flour. Next you're going to want to add your 2 1/2 cups of flour, and you're going to mix it all. This may take a second, so we're going to go ahead and jump to ludicrous speed.
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken? Prepare ship! Prepare ship for ludicrous speed!
So when your dough starts coming together, you're going to want to transfer it to your stand mixer and begin the kneading process. While you're kneading, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil while making sure your camera goes out of focus. That last bit is very important. The olive oil is going to be added in 2 additions. So we added the first addition, sped up the film, and now we're going to add the second addition. At this point, your dough is going to be very oily and maybe a little tough to work with. So this is where that extra 1/4 cup of flour comes in. So you're going to add it in little bits at a time until your dough is nice and smooth and silky. Also at this point, our video has clearly gone to plaid. Once you've reached that perfect state of smooth and silkiness, you're going to add more olive oil, and you're going to coat that bad boy up in all of that olive oil. Oh yeah, make sure you get every inch of it. Next, you're going to cover it and let it rise for an hour or until it doubles in size. So once an hour has passed, your dough should look something like this.
So at this point, we're going to drizzle some olive oil onto our pan, and we're going to spread it around with our hands evenly. Next, we're going to dump our thick boy dough out onto the pan. We're going to knock out all those air bubbles with our hand. Then shape it into a roughly rectangular or oval shape. And of course, more olive oil. Now we cover our dough and we let it rise for another hour. And now comes the fun part. It is now time to decorate our focaccia dough. Pro tip, we think it's a good idea to start off with a template or a rough idea of what you want your end design to look like.
So for a little bit of background, since we have a lot of time to kill as we decorate this focaccia, this recipe was adapted from Chef John over at foodwishes.com. Val and I learned a lot of our bread baking by watching Chef John's videos, and he's one of our personal culinary heroes. We designed this bread for the birthday of one of our Dutch friends. It's inspired by a famous Dutch artist. Perhaps you've heard of him. His name is Vincent van Gogh. And now, time for a pun inspired by Chef John. You can dimple this dough, or you can decorate. You are, after all, the Vincent van Gogh of your focaccia dough.
And now we top our focaccia off with a little salt and put it into a 475 degree Fahrenheit oven for about 14 to 15 minutes. We're not done yet. Yes, a little drizzle of olive oil to finish it all off. It took us all 15 minutes to decorate our focaccia bread from start to finish. So don't be scared. If we can do it, so can you. Just think about the look on your friends and family's faces when you bring your decorated focaccia bread over to your next dinner party. Worth it. Thanks for joining us. Let us know if you try this recipe in the comments below.
Tune in every Friday, and we'll see you at our next culinary destination.